Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice with Strife. I am of course William Strife, and this is actually a little bit special. This isn't live commentary, this is post-commentary. I have never done this before, so, I basically wanted to get my feelings out here on the Resident Evil 2 one-shot demo that you can only play through once, and then, you're down and out. Right out of the gate, I'll just say, you guys are probably going to be seeing this on Sunday, and the game is going to be coming out the following Friday. You can catch me streaming it over on my Twitch channel. I stream Saturdays and Mondays, so you can find links down below if you're more interested in that. But I want to get my ideas out here on Resident Evil 2, because I have a history with the Resident Evil franchise. I played through, not the original Resident Evil, but the remake that they did on the GameCube. And after, loving that game to, just an incredible degree, I went out and I got, 0, and I also got the GameCube ports of Resident Evil 2, 3, and Veronica X. Never played Resident Evil 4, surprisingly. I did pick up a copy, and it's still sitting on the shelf somewhere behind me. And, well, just I have history with the Resident Evil franchise, and this game, this demo, feels great. It feels amazing, and I'm quite impressed by how faithful it feels to the original Resident Evil 2, even though I only ever played through Resident Evil 2 once, So I'm no perfect expert. I'm certain there will be other YouTubers out there who will, make a frame-by-frame example where it's like, okay, let's examine all of these static backgrounds, because that's what Resident Evil 2 was. It was, back in the day whenever there was limited graphical capability, so one of the ways they managed to get around it was pre-rendered backgrounds. But having played through this demo, I'm keenly impressed, okay? It's both fluid and slow. It feels like I have a lot of control, and yet at the same time it feels like I am constantly under threat. So I really do enjoy this game, and now we're up to the point where I'm running into zombies. That wonderful experience. And what I like most about this game is the fact that it brings back the concept of survival, of the survival horror genre, because that's what horror originally was. It was called survival horror. And more recently, as zombies have become more prolific in media and whatnot, especially in video games, they haven't really been an enormous threat. It's a couple of slashes and the zombie's dead. They're not that much of a problem. They're shamblers. How much trouble could they give you? And this game really does bring back that concept of no, you don't mess with zombies. They're already dead. You really think that shooting them is going to make them more dead? So that's something that I feel in this particular demo that I haven't felt in a long time with a lot of horror games. That being said, I'm a bit of a wuss with horror games. So, I don't have an enormous amount of experience. I've played some Slender, the 8 pages. I've played some of Amnesia, but horror games, I don't have an inherent amount of experience with them. But to be certain, this is no Five Nights at Freddy's. This is no This is no Soma or anything like that. And there's nothing really wrong with those types of games. There's nothing particularly wrong with Five Nights at Freddy's, even though it's not my thing. And there's nothing wrong with, oh God, I can never remember the name of it. I want to say Insomnia, but I know that that's not right. But, well, look at this. This is where the game starts to get a little bit bloody. And, this is also something else that I feel you see and you don't see in other games. There's a big difference between a AAA development studio doing a horror game, which is basically quality like this in detail, versus, an indie studio doing it. It's not that what indie studios do isn't any good. It's that there's a big difference between having a large budget behind a game and having a small budget behind a game. Oh, and something else that this game has brought back is the idea of puzzles. That's another thing that I really like about older style horror games. It's the idea that you're usually stuck in a smaller space, and they make better use of the small amount of space that you have to work with. So it really does evoke a concept of, you're trapped in here with a lot of nasty things that you don't want to be with, I feel like that's not something that's seen in a lot of Well, it's certainly not something that I felt in any of the horror games I played. I felt like a lot of the horror games that I've played since, you know, the original 90s horror games, they were all more driven at the idea of, like, roguelike. And another thing is the likes of Amnesia or Soma or Slenderman. It was all about running away. There wasn't a lot of combat involved. At least that's been my experience. So, and that's something that really sets this that sets this demo apart. It's the fact that you don't feel hopeless. You just feel pressured the whole time. Like, the whole concept of survival horror, you have to make every shot count. And that's something that, you know, you don't see in the likes of a game like Amnesia. Of course, I'm mentioning Amnesia at this point, it's pretty old. And, you know, I think about other zombie games as well. The most recent zombie game that I've played lately is Dying Light, which you may have heard me talking about that on the Skyrim series. But Dying Light, it's a great game within its own right, but it's not a horror game. It's more of an action adventure game type thing. You know, this game, it scares the pants off of me, but it scares the pants off of me in a kind of Dark Souls way. Because in Dark Souls, in fact, Dark Souls and Bloodborne and the like, those games are scary because I'm worried about losing progress in the game. Resident Evil 2 here doesn't quite make me feel that way, but at the same time, it's overlapping. I'm getting a bit of that sensation with this game because I'm worried about wasting that next shot. I'm worried about what might be around the corner. I get scared about, you know, what could come at me next and what I might not be prepared for if I shoot at the one that's in front of me right now. It's about resource management. And, you know, that is not a problem. Just look at me there, wasting all of my shots left and right. But you get the idea. This game, I'm enthused by it. I like it. The idea that you're in a smaller space, you have to worry about, you know, whether or not you've left a zombie behind. That's another thing. Backtracking, one of the big cardinal sins of making of game design in general, but to a degree, I feel like backtracking is alright based on how large your levels are. And in the case of Resident Evil here, running through the police station, solving puzzles, trying to find, you know, that one little token that you need somewhere else, I don't think that backtracking is a problem. You see right here, I'm starting to get nervous. I'm getting nervous, I'm inspecting dead bodies, I'm like, are you gonna get up? Are you gonna give me a bad day? You know, type of an experience. I'm just thoroughly impressed with the way that this feels because it's hitting a lot of notes very perfectly. And I'm not entirely certain how much of that has to do with the fact that this is a remake, so they've got a template to basically work off of, or if it's, you know, legitimate design that they figured out, that just the people behind this game understand. I don't actually know who's made this particular who has made Resident Evil 2. I don't know if it's the same development team as who made Resident Evil 7. That's a game that I should probably give a shot to, but who knows if I'll ever get around to it. But yeah, Resident Evil 2, I like it. I really do enjoy it, and you know, the whole concept of resource management. You can fight back, but make certain that every shot counts. You don't know what's going to be around that next corner, and you know, it can lead to you being way too cautious in some situations. It can also lead to you playing fast and loose and paying for it. Also, even though this is a demo and there's no save system available in it, I have noticed that the typewriters are in this game. I'm led to believe that they brought back the system where it's like, no, there's a tied in-game mechanic. And normally, while I don't like that, because the last game that I saw that in was Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I did not like Kingdom Come Deliverance, to say the least. I feel that the limited saves mechanic in this particular game, Resident Evil 2, works for the sole reason that it is this concept of survival horror, and it brings, you know, those two ideas back and weaves them together, insofar as, you know, you can only save so many times. There's resource management. Do you really want to, like, how much exploration can you afford to do, because you might run into random zombies? Also, you know, backtracking through that other hallway, well, you know, zombies, you can kill them, but they're not actually dead, so they might get back up and give you more trouble. I love it. I love the way that it plays. It's fantastic. Like I said, I'll be playing it over on Twitch, and you can find out more by checking the links down in the description down below. But that's pretty much everything. Love it. Resident Evil 2. Looking forward to it. Bye, all.